In almost every sport, there's that one team. The team everyone loves to hate. In baseball, that title has belonged to the likes of the New York Yankees and the Houston Astros. But lately, the crown might belong to the Los Angeles Dodgers. The team with the money, the team with the stars, the team that always seems to be in the spotlight. They're one of the most successful franchises in baseball history and one of the most polarizing. To their fans, they're a powerhouse, but to everyone else, they're the villains of baseball. So today we're asking the question, why does everyone hate the Los Angeles Dodgers? Now it's the year 2043, and the Dodgers are finally done paying Shohei Ohtani, but also still carrying multiple years of deferred payments for other players. That storyline has become part of the modern conversation around this franchise. The Dodgers have continued signing and retaining superstar talent, including players like Mookie Betts, Blake Snell, Freddie Freeman, and this generation's version of Babe Ruth, Shohei Ohtani. One of the biggest talking points surrounding the team is their use of these deferred contracts. In this method, it allows teams to push a portion of a player's salary into future years rather than paying the full amount during the contract term. The result? The team lowers its immediate payroll burden, freeing up money to sign more star players in the present. In total, the Dodgers have reportedly structured over $1 billion in deferred payments, stretching into the 2040s, with some future seasons even carrying over $100 million in deferred salary obligations. A lot of the critics argue this is almost like a firm pay for Major League Baseball players. It feels like a buy now, pay later. Supporters say it's just a smart long-term business plan, especially for a franchise with the revenue to support it. But to really understand the hate, we have to go all the way back to the beginning. The Dodgers traced their roots all the way back to the late 1800s, starting as the Brooklyn Atlantics in 1883. The team went through several early nickname changes, including the Bridegrooms, the Superbas, and the Robins. Brooklyn then joined the National League in 1890 and winning the NL Championship in their very first year. In the early 1900s, a sports writer nicknamed the Trolley Dodgers, inspired by the Brooklyn pedestrians who were navigating city streets around the trolley cars. And by 1932, the Brooklyn Dodgers identity was officially established. Now you may be saying to yourself, Wilder, that seems like a big time gap. And you're right, but from 1890 to 1932, even during their early years, the franchise was competitive. They won 5 NL pennants in 1890, 99, 1900, 1916, and 1920, and even captured the Chronicle Telegraph Cup in 1900, which was an early postseason style championship. The rivalry era helped build the franchise's national identity. By the 1940s, the Dodgers were locked in a historic battle with the Yankees, meeting in their first 6 trips to the World Series. Baseball history is often shaped by rivalries, and nothing fuels fan loyalty like watching your team fight the winningest franchise in the sport. For other fan bases, though, constantly facing the dominant team naturally creates frustration, and frustration leads to hate. The Dodgers won National League pennants in 1947, 49, 52, 53, and 56, on the back of Jackie Robinson, Gil Hodges, and Roy Campanella, capturing their first World Series championship in 1955. But in 1957, the franchise made one of the most controversial moves in its history. They relocated from Brooklyn to LA. The move brought the team into a massive media market and significantly increased revenue potential, and in sports, money usually follows market size. More revenue means more spending power, which can mean more superstar signings, more wins, and more sustained competitiveness, which means more spending power, which means more stars, which means wins, which means more spending power, which means wins, which means more spending. Now you guys get the idea. That's where a big part of the resentment comes from. Another major reason people dislike the Dodgers is simply money. The Dodgers carry one of the largest payrolls in baseball almost every single year, and that financial flexibility allows them to pursue superstar talent that smaller market teams simply can't afford. Over the years, they've brought in stars like Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani, and to some fans, it feels like the Dodgers are just buying championships rather than building a team. The deferred salary strategy only amplifies that perception. By spreading payments into future years, the team can sign more elite talent while keeping current payroll numbers manageable. Critics believe this creates a competitive imbalance, while supporters argue that it's just simply modern sports economics and smart roster management. This conversation has even sparked debate about whether Major League Baseball should consider salary caps or even payroll floors. Interestingly, some fans point out that teams with significant financial resources, like the Red Sox for instance, also have the ability to spend more but choose different spending strategies to bring in players. Now, the funny thing about sports hate, teams usually become hated for one simple reason: they're good. The Dodgers have been a consistent playoff contender for over a decade and throughout their history. They win a lot, they sign superstars, they're always in championship conversations, and when a team stays at the top for that long, fans of other teams just start waiting for the moment they finally fall. The Dodgers have won 3 championships within the last 6 years, including the last 2 back-to-back, as well as the World Series in 2020 during the shortened pandemic season, which has led rival fans to jokingly call it a Mickey Mouse ring. Regardless of the debate, the franchise's resume is undeniable. With 9 World Series wins, the Dodgers have one of the highest winning percentages in baseball history, multiple World Series titles, the most National League pennants, and numerous postseason appearances. With legends like Sandy Koufax and Clayton Kershaw, the franchise also leads baseball no-hitter history and Cy Young awards. Winning builds fandom, but it also builds hatred. And let's not forget the 2017 sign-stealing controversy that they were involved in. But we'll leave that for another discussion in another video. And that's why everyone hates the Los Angeles Dodgers. The big market, the massive payroll, the championships. But in sports, hate usually means something else. It means you matter. Now I want to hear from you. Do the Dodgers deserve the hate, or are people just jealous? Let me know in the comments, and if you want to see more episodes of Why Does Everybody Hate series, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel down below, guys, because trust me, there are a lot more teams we need to talk about.